All right, let us begin. Happy Veterans Day. Ted, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You don't want to be in the front row. So before we back to the way I interact with others, personal accountability with courage and truth. First,
I will have the courage to tell the whole truth. I will be kind and compassionate. I will be fair and not seek selfish advantage. I will have an open heart and an open mind.
Before I have Jack come up here, Bob Fleischer had a heart attack and he had a stent put in. He's fine. But I am sorry to tell you that Don Crockett died this morning at 9:40. And Wes texted me and he wanted me to tell you all. They're very sad, but they know he's not in pain anymore. Details of any memorial services will follow. With that, sorry, Jay.
Think about our heads. Dear Lord, we give thanks for this day, but we're sad as we hear the death of Don. And we wish all the family the best in this time. And we are grateful for the guests that are with us. And we wish a blessing on the Rotarians here and around the world and the projects that they're involved with. Bless this food and this meeting to our use. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Please be seated.
When the last. Yeah, it was later on.
Yes. You know what's supposed to know about.
All right, let's welcome our guests today, and we'll start with Gene.
Well, it's my pleasure, because today's
Oh,
a big,
Barry.
yeah, it's a big special day. This Shop with the Top presentation, and I'd like to personally thank everybody, because we outdid ourselves again. So thank you very much. They really do appreciate it, and the kids and the families really appreciate it. Thank you. So we have here Chief Tasha Holly.
Hi. Thank you, guys.
And Sergeant Mark One.
Thank you. Then we have Dan Coyne with Chicago Voyagers. He's going to be speaking today.
Randy.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'd like to introduce to you a very good friend, a business colleague of mine, all the way from Poland, to be here today with us. So, Andrew.
It's a Polish name. An interesting thing that you have not Veterans Day, and today we have our Independence Day. That is the same day. It was the official end of the First World War, and we've been under 3 countries for more than 200 years. So it's a very, very special day for us. So thank you very much.
All right, announcements. Why don't we start with Shop with a Cop? Yes.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of the Community Service Committee, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Hoffman Estates Police and for organizing Shop with a Cop, and also Alan for bringing this opportunity to us many years ago to begin this project. We have a check in the amount of 2 checks. Huh? Yeah, 2, I know, yep. In the amount of $6,530 to fund Shop with the Cop. So thank you very much for your service and for partnering with us on this awesome project and bringing joy to so many out there, so many kids and families.
Thank you, guys.
Very much. Yeah. Got the police surrounded here. Thank you. Please feel free to say some words.
Wow, it seems like I was just up here a couple weeks ago. This year's flown by. As always, thank you for your hospitality and your continuing donations. The Rotary Club has been a detrimental part of our program for many, many years, but specifically over the last couple of years during the COVID pandemic. I can tell you without a doubt that if it wasn't for your sponsorship and your dedication and your generosity to this program, it would not have happened for the last 2 years. And there have been hundreds of kids that would have gone without dinner for the holidays and presents for their children. So I can tell you firsthand what your donations have done to these families and these kids over the last couple of years, and especially over the last several years that you have been part of this program. Last year, with the donations collected and most generously from the Rotary, we were able to help 81 children. Now, that's not 81 families. Some of these families have 3 or 4 children in each one, but they got gift cards to go out and buy presents for their kids. They got gift cards to go buy dinner for the holidays, to put food on the table. And it was just incredible to see all the families pouring in, and the excitement and just the gratitude you can see on their faces from the families, that it was such a relief for them to take that burden of not being able to supply or get things for their kids. And we just took that away. And I'm sure, I guarantee, even though I wasn't there in their households, but I can guarantee there was a lot of smiles going on for the holidays. And that would not have happened without the help from the Rotary Club. So thank you. And this year, this will go a long way to helping kids and families again. The good news is we're coming out of this pandemic, and we're starting to be able to do live events. And Alan Gabe, was able to put me in contact with the manager from the Poplar Creek bowling alley. And the manager there has generously donated her 300 person banquet space, and offered to provide all the food and breakfast for this year's event. People in high places. But Alan has always been an advocate for this program, and I believe he is the reason the Rotary started to sponsor this program. So thank you, Alan. Again, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but from deep in my heart here, this is a passion of mine to do this. I've been doing it for 23 years. I haven't missed a year. I've been to every single event. Chief Kashakali has also been to almost every single event, and she's very supportive of this program. So we thank you, these families and the kids, thank you. And I look forward to coming back and letting you know how well this year went. I will be forwarding information of this year's event. Everyone in this room is welcome to come to the event. It's going to be December 10th. It'll be probably 9 to noon. I will get the details to the Rotary to finalize that. But everyone's welcome to come. And I think it would be very rewarding for you to actually be in the room and to see what these donations do, and to see the smile on these kids' faces. So if you can make it, you're more than welcome to come. Thank you.
As you can see, we have a big project to do after the club meeting today. For anyone who would like to spend a few minutes and help to package sides for the women that are in safe houses for wings. So thanks for that.
Hello, friendly club.
Hello, Roger.
What is better than shop with a cop or Toys for Tots? Shop with a cop and Toys for Tots, right? So don't forget, we're doing Toys for Tots at our Thanksgiving meeting, which will be what day? Tuesday, July 22nd, November 22nd. That's correct. At Tony Spallone's with the Bloomingdale Rotary Club. And if you're going to attend, please bring toys. If you're not going to attend, please bring me toys for $20 or more dollars. Even got a email from a Rotarian that's down south being a snowbird. I won't say his name, but his initials are Daryl Moon. Sent money up so I could buy toys on his behalf, and I'll do it for you too.
Just a little reminder again, the holiday party, which is on December 2nd, Saturday, 5:30 to 10:30. And if you arrive at 5:30, the bar is open. I also want to mention to those who haven't signed up yet, if you let me know today, we'll be sure and get you in as well. So please see me during or after the meeting so that we can get you signed up. There are several of you who usually are coming and we're going to miss you, I know. Also, save the date. That is January 14th. And that is something you will remember we have had many times. The chili cook-off is on. So you know your chili is really great. So start thinking about how you're going to make it, get it. And on January 14th, at the same place as we've had it all the other times at Gale's Clubhouse, we will be having the wonderful chili cook-off. Thank you. The chili cook-off? That's a good question. No, I think it's in the late afternoon, but we'll get to that because we have plenty of time to let you know. Thank you. Any other questions?
Other announcements. Well, after the news today, I don't know if anybody's happy, but is anybody happy? Huh?
All right, trying to change everything here, baby. That's what you do, right? Right. Suck it up. Here we go. Anyway, tomorrow is, it's also sad, but happy. Tomorrow's senior day. Eddie's last college football game, most likely his last football game ever. We're going out to Iowa. Of course, they honor the parents because we did all of the hard work over the last 5 years of driving out there every other weekend. I couldn't be more proud of the kid. I mean, no D1 offers and starting 4-year starter, all conference last year. Who knows what's going to happen this year on just a terrible, awful team of young kids that will be great, of course, after he leaves, just like Conant was. If you recall, Conant won conference the year after. He went one win for 2 years in varsity. So just so proud of that kid. And I'll be doing the Happy Dollars online. So go Peacocks! Yeah.
Anybody else happy? Bruce?
I have 20 happy dollars because I had the great privilege of going to the south side of Chicago to store all of this food that's going to be going out here. We went to a wholesale grocer, which is an odyssey of itself. And so that's $5 of this $20 bill. And the rest is because I'm happy to have known and worked with Don Crockett.
I don't know, $50 a couple weeks ago, I announced that my grandmother on October 31st. So then on Friday of that same week, she got the flu.
Howie?
Yeah, I was outside. I didn't hear about Don. I'm heartbroken. I was gonna give 10 happy dollars because I had the privilege of working the election as a Cook County judge. So it was fun and a privilege to be part of the democracy.
Randy?
Well, and also, you don't have to watch 5 o'clock news and see Holly every 10 seconds, it seems like. So
It was wonderful, but it got a little overdone. Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I don't know about that, you know. I was gonna say that and you took it right.
Oh, no.
It's just- These past presidents, it seems like that's.
They are the worst.
They're the worst. But besides that, well, besides that, I have $5 happy because my business colleague and my friend Andre came specifically to visit me. He said, I'm coming to the United States to do the stuff. My family, my cousin is in Itasca, and I'd like to come and spend some time with you. This was all over ago, at least a year ago. We planning on this. So, Andre, thank you for coming and thank you for putting up with us.
I'm happy today because it's Veterans Day. It's just a reminder that I'm here because people like my dad, when he was 17, joined World War II, served his country along with millions of others. And I'm just so happy that we've got people in this world who are trying to make this happen.
$5 too. Again, celebrating Veterans Day. I come from a Marine family. What do you say? Okay. And also to have the real privilege of being able to participate for another year in Shop with these veteran officers and representatives from the office. Thank you.
I have $5 happy. This morning, I had the privilege of going to my granddaughter's school that had a program honoring veterans. And it was really elementary school, what these kids do, very emotional. And the other part of my $50 is that I can still fit into my uniform that I wore 50 years ago.
Don,
I've got $20 happy. I again am very impressed with the quality of members we have in this club and what they bring to this community. I want to highlight again, bring Tom back into focus. Tom did an incredible job of taking a massive amount of information and putting it into a brochure context, and he did a completely job. I really appreciate that. It'd be a good place for us to focus on how we're going to take this marketing initiative with our toolkit project. And I thank you for that.
and of course, Gene.
All right, so I have $2 happy for my daughter. Of course, she got another royalty check from the movie Widow she was in 4 or 5 years ago. And she's performing at the Arboretum this weekend at the tree lighting. $2 happy for that. $2 happy for all the veterans and all the veterans in the room and for my family. Thank you so much for your service. And I was gonna give a pass or two ago, and I noticed him on the front, and I noticed as he was scanning the room, his eyes met mine, and I saw the fear come over his face. And he avoided me the rest of the night. So I was eating dinner, and I finished dinner. I said, I haven't seen Alan all night. So it was about 8 o'clock. It's almost past his bedtime, so I'm gonna go try to find him. So I went over, and of course he was getting up and leaving, and I saw the fear in his eyes, but then he said, okay, I guess I better go say hi. And I said, Alan, I didn't realize you were bringing your daughter to the event. And she said, oh, no. I know he looks old enough to be my dad, but I'm his wife. And I said, oh, it's very nice to meet you. And he said, this is the guy that always, busts my chops every week. And I said, oh, it's all in fun. And she proceeds to tell me that it's good for him. It keeps him young. I said, whoa, I'm not a miracle worker. But it's very nice to meet you. And this is $2 for the person that puts up with Alan. She must be a very wonderful and talented person.
Jim.
I got $2 happy, because I didn't know until a few minutes ago, that 50 years ago, the Marines made their uniforms out of spandex.
Right, I think our program today is dueling Allen bastards. Can I get in there? Right. I have.
All right, Jeff.
I have $50 only because I thought my pickleball shtick was getting old. But Gene, thank you very much for just beating me out on that.
Anybody else happy? Bruce is happy, man.
I must have missed this announcements with the grocery operation. Sorry about that. It is my guest, or it is my pleasure to have Tiana Weiler, who is the relatively new director of the Prairie Center, be a part of our meeting, and also to let you all know that she just might be interested in a corporate membership.
You met everybody and decided.
All right, so, last week, somebody won the Queen of Hearts, so we get to start all over. Let's see if maybe we can pull the queen at the first time, like, some Terry guy did.
I'm planning on winning today.
Get out of bed.
Amen, brother.
All right.
Jordan here to tell me which one he wants. So. Number one, unless anybody wants to speak up for him.
Oh,
That's what I said.
George is here to tell him which one.
It is the King of Spades, but
King
I
of Spades.
think, no, where's,
No.
nope, Steve, okay, I saw your head shake.
Wah, wah.
Ernie wants to know if we're gonna go back to the tickets.
We are not going back to the tickets.
What if we took it to club?
We will discuss it at the board meeting. Alan, are you ready to bring lunch out? Our illustrious fine master, Alan Gabe.
So I know this is a kind of bad time because the food's coming out, everybody's hungry. Lauren, your name was pulled for the Queen of Hearts, and they had to pick number one because you were late. So stand up so you can collect, because you're gonna pay a fine for being late. And anybody else who was late, please pay $2. Mike, would you mind collecting money? Past district governor, big muckety muck in the district, and Rotary Foundation and RI and all that good stuff. Are you ever gonna be Rotary president? Okay. As we all know, today's Veterans Day. And if you have not hugged a veteran or kissed a veteran today, pay $2. What?
You're gonna get a lot. I'm gonna run and kiss you.
Well, it's gonna be too late. It's too late.
Nice day.
Okay, if you don't have a veteran at your table, that's $2. So, okay, so we're gonna have a little quiz. We're gonna have a little quiz, and Rotary. These are our guests. Our rules are Rotary has. We live by the four-way test. And the first one is the truth. So I'm going to ask this question. If you know the answer, don't blurt it out. But if you know the answer, that's fine. If you get it wrong, then you have to pay. So yesterday was the only holiday that the Marine Corps believes exists. the Marine Corps birthday. So the question is, how old is the Marine Corps? Is it 273 years old? Is it 274 years old? Or is it 275 years old? And I can see all the minds going and the brain trying to add and subtract. How many people think it's 273? Raise your hand. How many people think it's 274? How many people think it's 275? You know, you should have followed Eileen. She comes from a Marine Corps family. It's 274. And I know that she only guessed when she did that, but everybody who said something other than 274 paid $2. And no, I was the one who taught the founding member what to do. So we all know that we're celebrating Veterans Day today. How many people here know, if you blurt it out, it's $10? No. How many people here know what it was called before it was called Veterans Day? Raise your hand. Is that all? Okay, so Pat, what was it called?
Armistice Day.
Right. So anybody who did not know that answer paid $2. So there is a president who changed it from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. Was it FDR? Was it Harry Truman? Or was it Dwight D. Eisenhower? If you thought it was FDR, raise your hand. If you thought it was Truman, raise your hand. If you thought it was Eisenhower, raise your hand. It was Dwight D. Eisenhower. Ike was the one who changed it. Ike was also the one who started the interstate traffic, highway. Sergeant Mark, you know I love you, but you know you embarrassed me. You know how shy I am with all those nice things you said. And it's a tradition that I fine you. So I'm not going to fine you. Just give a contribution, whatever you think is appropriate. Thank you, Mark. Roger, you know I love you, but your geography kind of is weak. Your comment was somebody from the South whose initials are Daryl. Daryl lives in Arizona. That's not the South. You should know that. You're from the Ozarks. $5, Roger. Okay. If you have not signed up for the holiday party, you're making a big mistake. It's a great event. You know, and it does have an open bar, so I'll give you my card, you know, in case you get in trouble afterwards. But if you have not signed up for the holiday party, that'll be $2, and we know who you are. Right, Bonnie? Okay. And if your name is Jim McCullough, did you bring your checkbook?
I did not.
That wasn't very, you know, four-way pack. That wasn't very nice. That wasn't very kind.
I tried to be honest.
So Bonnie, I'm sorry, but Jim's not going to be able to take you out to dinner tonight because he's going to pay $20.
Gotta fix that.
Yeah, and that's why I say he's not taking Bonnie out to dinner tonight. That wasn't very nice, Jim. Okay, I take it back. It won't be 20. We'll do the Glenn Jurgod final meter. Okay, it's going to start at $1 and it's going to go up to $20. So you will decide how much we're going to fine Jim McCullough for the unkind comment. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever. Okay, they felt sorry for you, Jim. $10.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. And if you are not going to help Holly and Bruce pack all the goods, like me, because I have to go somewhere. I have a business appointment. That'll be $2. And if you forgot to, it's not you, Bruce, because you were busy doing other things. So everybody at the table who did not introduce his guest, you have to pay $2. Everybody, if you know a veteran, call them, hug them, and happy Veterans Day. And everybody keep Don Crockett's family in your mind. All right.
Enjoy your lunch.
No, wait.
Probably not. The team is quite bad. There's nothing, recognition of oh, you know what, it's a tough sport. His body's tired. He's got help without any injury. Your son's graduating from college, man. It seems like this. He actually graduated today. He's been taking some master's classes in order to qualify for his last year. They had the COVID year. But yeah, they're actually all going to be done with school in May. All three. Boy, just in time for you to sponsor the class. I'm out of it.
I wasn't like no COVID free.
Hopefully back here somewhere.
Even Sandy.
You haven't seen him in 3 years. And he's got a job. He started with an offer and he accepted it. He's just going to see if there's anything better out there.
Do it, what they're gonna do?
Computer science.
Oh, nice, for like Ace Hardware.
Well, they got to get stuff from order to store. They do stuff with the website and app. So we actually had a.
So they're like
internship
a corporate job.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it's at,
I thought they were independently owned.
they're based out of,
But I thought the Ace Hardware stores were independent.
yeah, but there's a corporate office where they buy stuff.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Wow. I like these.
I'm a fan. I see your husband at East Hardware. Yeah. Go to that one yourself?
Under you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Middle of winter, we're both in our winter things and we're staring at salt, wondering which is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd much rather support neighborhood slavery.
Yep. Actually, I'll bring it to you. 'Cause I wanna look. think he's doing okay. Because we already had a stint for him. No, we just, I found out yesterday.
That group was a comedian.
Probably. He was on our team.
I would see like.
Yeah, my oldest is gonna be a physical therapist. So next week he starts living back at home full time and he's in a clinical in Lyle.
Oh, wow.
He's basically here now because he only has one class in DeKalb, so he goes there Thursday nights.
I could ride with Jana. She teaches us that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he stays for his best on Friday.
Oh, no.
He said it works out really great because we don't have Amazon Prime, and that's where the Thursday night football is on.
So he can get it on his
So he
hotel.
gets, yeah, no, he stays with his buddy.
Okay.
It's interesting. One of his friends that he graduated high school with, he got a degree in construction management, and he's helping build the metal baseball facility that's out there.
Wow. Oh, we're there. You're building out over Cal.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's like this huge thing, and so it worked out good for because his lease ended in August, and he only had he had 2 classes a week for a while, and then 1 class a week. So he just stayed with his buddy, gave him $100 a month. So now he's at home, annoying the hell out of us.
He's a football guy or?
No, he's just my oldest. My oldest, yeah. The football guy's the middle one.
Yeah, no kids in your 20s.
I'll give him this. Maybe. Right now the team is so bad, he's gotten no looks. The only good part is that there's a guy that played at Minot last year. That Minot had only 1 win. He's actually playing for the Patriots now. Left tackle, 6'6", 220 pounds. All conference last year. So the way he figures, because his body is kind of starting to feel it. If they come up calling, he'll go, but he's not gonna call people and pursue it. What do you say?
Oh, no, the kids in their early 20s.
Yeah, just give them a lot of freedom, but it's one of those things where we just want to know that he's leaving. If he's leaving somewhere approximately what time he's expected home. Don't care where he goes, don't care what he does. We expect all that. Just kind of that. That is difficult. Yeah, at that age, I actually bought my first home.
Oh, wow.
And I'm proud. So, he's now his friends have jobs and homes and,
That's how Sean felt, like he was
almost.
Almost 30. PhD.
I'm sorry to interrupt your meal. I believe I have about 15 minutes. My name is Dan Coyne, a volunteer board member of a pretty cool program. I just wanted to share a little bit about it with you. But first of all, I just want to tell you just 1 minute, a little bit about myself. Every time I come to another Rotary meeting, I feel at home. Rotarians rock, and that is truly a part of my heart, part of my service. I am a member of a Rotary Club that meets at breakfast in Evanston, our Lighthouse Rotary Club. But you guys are having so much fun at lunch, I wonder if I should switch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chicago Voyagers, if you don't know, is a non-for-profit. We've got about $1 million budget, fiscally sound. And for the last 8 years as a board member, that was important to me. When I first started, we didn't have good policy and procedures. We had some good ideas, some good people that founded the organization. But I feel that part of my skill base and part of my job is to help any organization, if I'm part of it, to help strengthen them financially and strengthen them through solid policy and procedures and to increase services if it's a good project. In this particular project, what we have is a program that uses the outdoors to therapeutically work with behavioral disorder kids. These are teenagers, junior high through high school, who are mostly kids of color from the Chicago area or North Chicago and the suburbs, and they're having behavioral problems. If you haven't followed our criminal justice system in the United States, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Right now, about $10 billion a year our taxpayers are paying to incarcerate juveniles. And some of them need to be. It's my belief as a school social worker, not everyone needs to go to jail. Some have had trauma in their lives. Some of them were born into poverty. No fault of their own. There they are. They're stuck and they're in the mix. Those are the kids that we target with Chicago Voyagers. So if I may just go through a slideshow here and let you know kind of how we operate and what we do. And I would like to stop early enough to take a few questions if you have time. Should I stop at about quarter after? Can you help me on the timing?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
All right.
And by the way, the sound,
Yeah.
your videos does work.
Oh, it does work. Oh, okay. We do believe, like most Rotarians, that every human being has potential. It's our job to lift them up. We also believe at Chicago Voyagers that if we can support these kids to overcome some of these obstacles, they can actually turn into functional adults. It works. We also believe that every young person deserves guidance and support needed to grow into that adulthood. You can't do it alone in a vacuum. We've got kids that won't leave their block. We've got kids that think there are sharks in Lake Michigan. We've got kids whose siblings have been shot or have already begun in the criminal justice system. We have to stop the nonsense. That's my belief. We started back in 2008, small budget, about 30,000. Now we're at $1 million. We have about 6 months of operational in our fund for a rainy day, and that helped us get through the pandemic, by the way. We have about 40 partners that we work with, other community programs that work with youth. Some of them actually had to stop their operation during the pandemic. They didn't have the finances. We never missed a beat. And to me, that's one sign of a healthy organization, when you actually have the finances to operate and support your staff and your programs. There's a group through the CDC that studies kids. And these statistics, for me anyway, as a 65-year-old school social worker, are stunning. They're called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. It's not rocket science, it's brain science. There's no question in the science world, the human brain doesn't fully function and grow completely until the age of 25. If you add trauma, poverty, all kinds of violence into a child's life with an undeveloped brain, here are the stats that can be proven. 600% increase in behavioral problems in the school. The last 30 years, I have worked in the school systems, and I can tell you firsthand, most of the kids are great. There's a lot of hope for our human history, or for our future. There's a lot of good kids in the world. But every building that where I work, there's a few kids that have so many behavioral problems, it's 80% of our attention. Also, suicide, 12 times higher. These kids that we work with, we lose them. I know we're working with the right groups because we lose them because of suicide and because of violent death. Depression, 500% of the kids that we work with, right, have a higher chance of being depressed. So clinically, it's imperative that we find a way to deal with that mental health before they enter adulthood, one way or the other. 700% dissatisfied with life. I'll zip through this so we can also answer some questions. The brain science, you can read some of it on your own if you don't know, but it's phenomenal what these kind of traumas can do to the mind. These kids just go into another zone. In some ways, they're almost like zombies. I had the chance, for instance, this summer to volunteer to help with the group that we've been working with the last year from North Chicago High School. And we were able to, after once a month activities here at Bussey Woods in the Schaumburg area, because that's where our office is, just down the street. We took these kids for an 8-day trip out to Colorado to hike in the mountains. And I was the van driver and the old guy in the back of the line as we climbed up to 12,000 feet. And we made it. But I can tell you what I learned from that trip, and I hope some of you would consider volunteering with us. We're always looking for volunteers, and it's kind of fun. You could do a day, afternoon type of activity or something longer like I did this last summer. At the beginning of the trip, these 8 kids from North Chicago cussing and swearing and just, ripping on each other. They were 8 individuals, and no question, there was no team. It was fun and phenomenal for me as a therapist, as a mental health therapist, to watch, because we have these kids in a program like this for 24 hours for 8 days. That's like 2 years of therapy shot in the arm. They can't get away. And we have a very structured program, so there's a lot of reflection for the kids up in the mountains or wherever we're taking them. And I could see some of that individual stuff that was going on in their lives began to melt. They began to become more honest and sharing in their groups. Instead of cussing and swearing at each other, instead of being 8 individuals, they became a team. And on the trip back, which is a 30-hour trip, by the way, driving, they were watching the cornfields. They were talking with each other like normal human beings. To me, there's proof, and I'm going to show you in a minute on a different slide, that we can prove that our interventions work with these kids. The kids we serve, 90% low income, supporters. There's different folks out there that help us, which is very helpful. And I have found that the stronger our board governance, the stronger our fiscal responsibility, the higher the donations are. So in other words, people are willing to invest in our programming. Our partners are across the board: Department of Corrections, Department of Children and Family Services, different homes, different schools. And here's the kicker. We had a college study our program and our interventions using research science. So we had a control group and our interventions. We now are writing, and we're going to be in a scientific journal on youth services that we want to brag about. Our program can reduce discipline in the schools by 65%. That's a game changer. When we go to a school and talk to a dean of students or a principal and say, hey, here's a kind of a cheap program we're willing to do for a few of your kids that are probably the biggest headaches in your building, and we'll bet you after a year, 65% of those behavioral referrals will disappear. That makes a difference in the school building. Another thing that's incredible, instead of quitting school or flunking out, their GPA goes up 0.7. And as an educator, that's huge. That means they're engaged in learning. That's what we're trying to do with these kids. They don't have to live the way they're living. And then there's other survey, soft kind of statistics, but everybody's satisfied. So the people that we do work with want us to continue and grow our budget. We'll get past some of this. Our board, I'm one of the members here. our church, I'm a Mennonite, and we have a retreat center just over the border in Wisconsin. And that's where we have our annual retreat. And I think that's important as a board member. You need to get your members of the board away and just spend, even if it's just one night, somewhere to learn about each other, have some fun like you guys do here. That was hilarious listening to you guys. That's really great. Where you can rip on each other and drink wine and make fun. That's beautiful. I won't repeat that back to them. But anyhow, our board is a diverse board, about half of color and different religions and backgrounds. And I just want to say that for me, it's important to be part of an organization that's fun. So there's no question that our board is fun. We're always looking for board members. So if anyone's interested, I think my card's going around. It's got my cell phone and our website. Feel free to reach out. Let's see, the three kind of programs that we had, just briefly. The adventure one, which is probably what you're probably most familiar with. It's sort of like a hood in the woods. You go out for a day, you do something and come back. What's the effect? I don't know. Our journey program is a full year program, a small group of kids, ratio of about 2 to 1 therapist for every 2 kids. And once a month for a weekend, we'll do something outdoors. Rock climbing, scuba diving, biking, canoeing, what have you, something outdoors. Or our voyage, which I just described before, which is taking that same small group, but for 3 to 4 years. So we actually work with them throughout their high school life, trying to get them, launch them into adulthood. Do I have a couple minutes? Can I do this one story? It's 2 minutes. All right. This is just an example of one of our students, and he can speak for himself. To start this, what do I push? Thank you.
I had deep depression. I had to go to mental hospital two times, and it wasn't fun. I had to deal with a lot of stuff. 2 friends passed away for suicide and shooting. My cousin had passed away because he drowned. My dad's in Mexico, and he has to be living in shootings and gangs, and I hope he's safe. I think here is like a great place to like let all that out. I was like so aggressive and stuff. Like back when I was at Mercy, when I was in the hospital, I was aggressive. I would fight everybody. So I couldn't care what I did. But now that I'm at Mercy, came to this trip, I feel calm. I don't feel like I don't have any aggression. Like it's amazing. This is my first time doing all this. Something fun this week was really fun. Is like I learned how to canoe with Luigi and Bernie. I loved it. When I first came here, there's a lot of mosquitoes in my back. I kept on getting bugged because of that, but I learned how to control that, and I actually did like it. I feel excited and I think to be with you, Luigi, and with everybody. It was amazing. I want to spend more time with you guys. I think it was pretty good to the show. It's definitely one of my best trips I ever had. I kind of just like want to be happy. When I came here and I just started looking at the trees and the view, that just helped me calm down. It actually got me happy. Tomorrow's the last day, and I don't want to leave tomorrow because I like all the views of the trees and how nature grows and stuff. And I think it's amazing. And I just looked at the view, and it was so pretty. I just wanted to cry, but I didn't. I thank them a lot. I really do. And I thank everybody that came to this trip. But I was happy that y'all came, and hope we do this again next year. I think it was amazing.
Thank you very much for being Rotarians in our world. You are making a difference. I heard an anecdotal story of your tools that you give to the high school kids. That's spot on. You're making a difference already. If anybody wants to get a hold of me and come visit our warehouse down the street, Pratt and Wright Street, it's there. It's fun to visit. We've got all of our equipment in there. And we're always doing something outdoors with the kids in the community. So you could, of course, can join us if you ever want to join and volunteer. Any questions?
Yeah, I come from a good family and so forth. I remember as a kid, I'd go off to camp, for a couple of weeks and then come home. And, I felt like my world was over, right? Because I missed all my buddies. And I felt like even at 11 years old, or whatever it was like, you get that feeling in your stomach, like homesick almost. I mean, and I was going back to a nice, healthy home. How do you guys handle the transition for these kids?
Very good question. One thing we do is we get family buy-in if we can, right at the beginning. Of course, we get the institutions buy-in, whether it's a group home for kids or it's a high school. But one thing we ask for the family is to participate in a celebration dinner at the end of the year, for the season. And then the family comes. And what we have found is that engages the family, and they give us feedback and part of that. And during that meal, the family can speak about what did you discover this year with your particular child. And the mamas who speak Spanish would tell me, for some reason, my kid's helping in the kitchen again. So those kind of things, they're not dead, they're still in school, and they're actually engaged in the family. So that's helped. Now, some of the environments, though, are so violent and so rough that what these kids have found, and we try, by the way, to have one group in the same building, so they have a core group to work with. We also ask the partner that we work with, the institution, to please bring one staff person. I don't care if it's the janitor or the principal, it doesn't matter their title, but somebody who gets along with the kids. So there's someone there learning what we're doing and how our program works. And then the kids have an adult to talk to in that school. And what we have found is usually the social workers and psychologists and a lot of the teachers support us in that way.
What is the history of these kids going and coming back? Any history of relapse?
Oh, well, relapse in the sense of quitting the program or?
Going back to their old ways.
Yeah, well, we found that the 65% reduction in behavioral disorder, that's huge. That's success. And their grades go up 0.7 GPA. So in that sense, that's our success. We do lose some of our kids through attrition or moving. We work with kids that are in families that are financially struggling and maybe into illegal activities. So some of our families actually move during the program. So we do lose some because of that. But what I've found in the last 8 years is some of our kids, and I've seen them, graduate into adulthood and come and volunteer with us. And to me, that's also a sign of success. Yes.
What are your needs? I've been to your
Oh.
warehouse, so tell us about what you have there, all the clothing.
Sure, we can outfit, we have about 40 canoes and all the gear for rock climbing and just about anything you can do outdoors. We've got tents and stoves and all that equipment. And also our CEO is just one of these anal retentive list people. And it is so organized. You've got to see Bernie go to the store and plan for a trip and shop. He can go through and get a week's worth of food in an hour and have it all listed and go through that line. So he's very organized. But what do we need? We're always buying stuff for the kids. The kids and their families pay nothing. So a lot of our kids come with inadequate clothing. So we always provide the gear that they need to be outdoors. Because a lot of times we're out with inclement weather. So we're always open to gifts like clothing and that kind of thing for the kids, but also camping equipment or anything outdoors that you can think of. What I have found is the most valuable gift is really the time. Our kids are hungry for love. They really are, not to sound corny, but it's a very human instinct. They need people to listen to them and hang out with them. And just having a volunteer spend an afternoon here at Lucy Woods doing something with us, that's a huge gift, in my opinion. Thank you very much.
No, I don't know Vanessa, but you did very, very well today. And the good people at Gigi's made us a nice mug with the four-way test, which you're gonna hear in a few minutes, and we'd like to give that to you for speaking with us today and.
Do I have to
telling us
tell her I
all
got
about your
this?
No, I won't tell him.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, next week, boy, I'll try and say it. Kyoko check. American Cancer Society is next week's speaker. Please be there. And then, the week after is the big challenge. Big challenge, the Bloomingdale Roselle Club. Yep. Be there. And that Friday, we won't be meeting, we'll be meeting with them on Tuesday. All right, please rise. Lauren, you're gonna have to lead us in the four-way test.
Thank you. The four-way test of things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you for your service and enjoy your Veterans Day, and thank you to all veterans for their service. Oh, and please load up some sides